In this video, I'm going to share with you my top 3 tools that you can use to maximize your practice time. And if you watch until the end, I will give you a bonus tool that my students absolutely love. Like I showed this particular tool to some of my students and they were just completely addicted. They absolutely love this particular tool. So when it comes to practice time, it's really less important about how many hours you practice, but it really is about what you do with the practice time. As I've mentioned in the previous videos, I've talked about, you can cut down your practice time, but also get more done while you're working on your practice time. So there's 3 top tools that I like to use or that I recommend to my students, and I also use these tools myself to help you with certain aspects of learning piano while you're practicing. The first tool that I've mentioned, if you watched my previous video, I talked about this tool called Pro Metronome. And for those who don't know what a metronome is, it's the thing that goes tick, 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 tick. So when you're using the metronome, it's really important to make sure that you're not speeding up a particular song too soon. Because as I mentioned before, if you're working on a song and if you're practicing it too quickly in terms of speed, and your brain doesn't really have a chance to really process what you're working on, you'll find yourself practicing that same part a gazillion times and feeling like you've gotten nowhere. So one of the things you need to do is just slow down those particular songs. I've gone over some videos in the past on how to do that properly, but one of the tools to help you with maintaining a healthy speed as you're working on your song is Pro Metronome. Let me actually turn this the brightness up so you guys can see it here. So if you have an iPhone, I don't know if it's available on Android, but it's really simple enough. If you go on the App Store, regardless of what phone you have, if you type in metronome, M as in Mary, E-T-R-O, N as in Nancy, O, M as in Mary, E, they'll probably have a bunch of free apps that have metronomes in them. But the one that I use, if you have an iPhone, it definitely has this one. It's called Pro Metronome. So Pro Metronome is a tool, as opposed to you having to go to the store and buy a metronome. This one is free and you can just download it right into your iPhone, your iPad. And what this does is you're able to set the speed that you need to work on when you're practicing your song. So let's say if you wanted to practice a song at, say, 60 beats per minute, you would just tap this number here at the top where it says 80, and you'll see this button pop up or this box pop up, and you would just type in, at least I can do this because it's reversed here. Okay, you can't see it. So you type in 60, right? And then press set, and you see how the number changes, and then you just press this play button here in the middle, and it'll start ticking. And then you can put this over your piano, and then you can work on your song at this particular speed. So not only does it help you with maintaining speed, but it also helps you with building your rhythm and timing skills as well. And now if you wanted to change the speed, let's say if you wanted to go a little bit faster, you would just type in or tap at that same number, and that box will pop up. And let's say if you wanted to go to 70, you just type 70 and then set. And if you notice, if I press the play button, it goes a little bit faster. So this is going to be a very helpful tool when it comes to helping you maintain your timing when it comes to practicing. Before I continue, I want to bring to your attention, I have in the description box, I have a free piano in 3 steps video. This is going to be for complete beginners. If you don't know the first thing about piano, and if you want to get like a head start on how to learn, that piano in 3 steps video is going to be very helpful. There's a link in the description box to sign up for that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Speaking of that 3 steps video, the second tool that is going to be very helpful, and you will not get this anywhere else, this is something I built from scratch. This is something that's going to help you with managing and also making sure that you find time in the day to practice. And the reason why I built this is because a lot of my students have a very difficult time finding time to practice with everything else going on, because most of my students are older adults. So what I decided to do to help them out is I put a PDF together called the Practice in Less Time It Takes to Cook Blueprint. Very self-explanatory, because one of the things that my students have issues with is feeling like they don't have time to practice. They feel like they need to, take an hour a day to practice, and they really don't. You really only need maybe like 15, 20 minutes to practice minimum. If you do have an hour, that's fine. But if you don't, if you have other things to work with or to work on, this blueprint will help you find the time to practice and stick with your practice schedule. So that's table of contents. So it's a full It's a small ebook, but it goes over like an introduction on why it's important to practice. I also have the best practices for practicing, finding the time to practice, picking a day and time, setting a reminder. It goes over all of that. As I mentioned before, the first thing to help you practice is to figure out how to manage your time in general. So if you know how to block out times of the day to handle your other tasks, if you do that, you'll realize you actually have a lot more time than you think. A lot of people think that they don't have time because they don't actually manage their schedule. So their day kind of just plans itself and it feels like you just ran out of time versus you taking control of your day and just blocking out times of the day to handle certain tasks that are important. You'll realize, oh, you actually will find that you'll free up maybe like an hour or two out of the day to schedule. So there's a part of the PDF that helps you master your current schedule. It actually has a planner on the back to help you block out time for your particular tasks, right? So this isn't just about practicing, but it also helps you manage your day-to-day schedule. That way you can free up time to practice. So once you've freed up time to practice, then you can go to the next part of the PDF where it says using my ultimate practice planner. On the back of that, there's an actual planner to help you keep track of what you're working on, what warm-ups you're going to work on, what songs you're going to work on for each day. And as you can see here, you can designate times of the day or days of the week to practice and what times you're going to basically block out for each day of the week to practice, what your goal is for that week, what you want to learn. And also at the bottom here, you can also track your progress, see what you're working on, see how you're getting better. So all that is included in the PDF. So if you sign up for my 3-step video, which again is free, the 3-step video is free, I will send you this entire PDF to your email just for signing up for my 3-step video. The other thing that I wanted to show you, if you want to focus on practicing how to sight read and also practicing naming your keys, if you're a complete beginner, there's another app. Now this one you do have to pay for. It's like, I think it's like $3 or $4, but it's like a one-time fee. It's called Tenuto. Now there's 2 versions of this. There's the website version where you can go on musictheory.net. It has the same exact exercises on there for free. But if you want an app version, the app version is called Tenuto. So T as in Tom, E, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy, U, T as in Tom, O. So it's called Tenuto. And this app will help you practice things like how to name your chords, how to name your keys. It also helps you practice naming your sheet music notes. So for example, at the very top here, where it says note identification, if you tap that, you will see a screen pop up like this, right? And let's say if you wanted to practice, let's say your notes for the treble clef, what you could do is, and I'm going to actually lower the brightness here so you guys can see a little bit better. Sometimes screen on screen apps are not good. So you go to this little gear thing at the top and you'll see the options here where you can choose what clef you want to work on. So if you wanted to work on just the treble clef, you would just check that on and check off the bass clef, go to the back button. And then the range, this is really important. If you wanted to make the range smaller, you just drag this top note here on the F line and then drag this bottom note here on the C line. And then just make sure if you want to just work on just the basic notes and not the black keys, make sure that this accidentals is turned off. And you go back to the screen and you can see it changed the treble clef. And what it's going to do is basically it's going to ask you what that note is. And that's when you can do the whole every good boy does fine. If you get the right note, so let's say if you get the right note here, it will give you another note to work on. And that one you would use face, so that one's E. And you can just practice naming your keys for each of the clefs. There's also one, if you wanted to practice naming your keys, the actual keys on the keyboard, if you go under where it says, let me see, staff construction, no, keyboard identification, the 3rd section here, where it says keyboard note identification right here. And there's a keyboard that pops up, and this one will help you practice naming your keys, whether you want to just work on the white keys, just the black keys, or both. You can configure your settings the same way where you go, okay, I want to work on just this or just that, or I want to work on X, Y, and Z. I did mention a bonus tool that I want to talk about, and this is the one that my students absolutely love. It is called Piano Maestro. So piano, and then the word maestro, M as in Mary, A, E, S as in Sally, T as in Tom, R, O. Now, this would not necessarily be a replacement for an actual teacher or an actual course, comprehensive course, this would be a great supplementary app to help you practice. You can hear it in the background. It's actually kind of cute. It looks like it's for kids, but it can be for both kids and adults. But here, let's say if I wanted to open a profile, and you'll see here, let me turn this down. But it's basically an interactive app. So let's say you wanted to work on a song. I can just press this out here. And let's say if I wanted to practice a song, right? And now I have home challenge, library, and journey. So if I wanted to work on a song here, what it does, and I'm just going to pick a random song so you can kind of see how this works. If I wanted to work on this one, right? What happens is if I press the play button, it pulls up the actual song. Now, don't be intimidated if this looks difficult, because this starts you from the very beginning, like if you're just playing like one key. But what this does is it listens for your playing. So here it's going to ask me for C. Oh. And then you'll see this pop up. So what this does, let me pause this. Let me see here. What this does is it moves the sheet music along the screen and it listens for your playing. So it listens for if you hit the right key and if you hit it at the right rhythm. And basically it moves the notes along as you're playing the right notes and the right rhythm. It has practice mode too. If you're trying to learn the song, it will walk you through like the song in sections, and then it gives you a rating at the end. So again, if you get this app, you go to the very, very beginning, it'll start you with the simplest note, which is just one note, which is just C. Like it starts super, super easy, but it also gets very difficult, but it does it gradually. So there's a bunch of songs in here. There's a bunch of pop songs in there. They got like all kinds of songs. They probably got Beyonce in there somewhere. I'm not sure how the licensing agreement, went with that, but that's none of my business. But it gives you plenty of songs, plenty of scales, plenty of chords, plenty of exercises to work through. That app by itself will keep you busy. It's a great way to add, or it's a great additive to your practice time. So you spend maybe it's like 5 minutes doing warm-ups. You can use Piano Maestro for that. Another 5 minutes doing maybe like a technique exercise. You can use Piano Maestro for that. And then you can spend maybe 20 minutes on an actual song that you're working on your own. So in a future video, I'm going to be talking about, what am I talking about in the future video? I'm going to be talking about, let me see. Yeah, so I want to talk about in the next video, the best practice routine for learning pop songs or pop music. If I've actually uploaded that video already, by the time you see this video, I will put it in an end screen, either on this side or on that side. You'll see it pop up at this point. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box or in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to help you. So thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.